Good day to our viewers at home. Welcome to Flash P Edu Concepts channel, and in today's class we'll be dealing with sequence and series. Sequence and series as a topic, where we have two subtopics under it, where we have the arithmetic progression and the geometric progression. Arithmetic progression in terms of AP, while the geometric progression in terms of GP. Now, when we talk about arithmetic progression, we are talking about adding and subtracting of numbers. It's either you add numbers at a particular interval, like the same number adding it all through. Something like we have something like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Now, when you have something like this, we are trying to talk about what? AP. Because of what? We are adding 2 consecutively, like the common difference is constant. Now, when we have something like this, we have something like 3, 9, 27, we have it 1, we have dot. This is GP because we are dealing with common ratio. Now, let me briefly explain the difference between a series and a sequence. When they talk about a series is denoted by 1, 3, 4, and so on and so on. While a sequence is when you use the positive sign. This is what? This is the sequence. This is a series. This is a sequence, and this is a series. This is a sequence, and this is a series. So, moving on to the next thing, we have what we call in an AP. We have what we call the first term, and the first term in an AP is denoted by small letter a, where the first term in a GP2 is also denoted as small letter a. Then in AP, we have what we call common difference. And common difference is denoted by what? You can get common difference by subtracting the second term from what? From the first term. We are subtracting the second term from the first term. Or we say we subtract the third term from the second term. Or we say we subtract the fourth term from the what? Third term, and so on and so forth like that. Now, if I'm to look for the common difference of this sequence, that means I'm subtracting the second term, which is 4, from what? From 2, which is what? 2. So, at the end of the day, the common difference, the rate at which this sequence is moving is what? Is at an interval of 2. But for this other one, we call it common ratio. Common ratio. And for common ratio, it is denoted as 1 over half, and it is gotten by saying second term divided by what? The first term. Or what? Or we say third term divided by what? The second term, and so on and so forth. You can also say 10th term divided by what? The 9th term. Now, looking at what we have here, what is the second term here? It is 9. All over, what is the first term? 3. So 9 over 3 is what? Giving us 3. So moving on to the next one, we have another thing, another terminology in AP. We have what we call the sum of first nth term. Or before I move here, let's talk about the nth term. Before I move to that, let's talk about the nth term. The nth term of an AP is denoted by Tn, which is also the same thing as what? The last term. So when we say nth term of an AP, we're also talking about what? The last term of that AP, which is a plus open bracket n minus 1d. A plus a open bracket n minus 1d. Which means if I'm to ask you to look for the 10th term of this AP, that means the t term of that AP will be what? A plus open bracket 10 minus 1d, which is what? A plus 9d. So at the end of the day, you realize that when you are looking for a particular term, the answer is going to be a plus, you subtract 1 from that term and you multiply it by what? The common difference. So the 10th term is what? A plus 9d. If I'm to ask you now, what is the 5th term? The 5th term is going to be what? A plus 4d, because it's going to be what? A plus 5 minus 1 close bracket d. That is a plus 4d. So which means the 8th term will be what? A plus 7d. I hope you've gotten that. Now we have what we call the nth term also in GP. We also call it the last term too. I also do the last term, so and it's equal to what? A r raised to power n minus 1. Now, in this aspect, what we are doing here is you must first of all solve r raised power n minus 1 before you multiply it by a. That is, you must first of all look for the value for this before you multiply it by a. Let me give you an instance. If I say 2 times 3 raised power 3 minus 1, you should not tell me it is 6 raised power 3 minus 1 because this is the total calculation. This is the wrong calculation. So the first thing you need to do is what? Let's simplify this one first, which is 2 times 3 raised power 3 minus 1 is 2. Now what will 3 raised power 2 give us? It will give us what? 3 times 3, that is 1. So that is 2 times 9, which is plus what? 18. So that is what the value will give us. But if you are going to the first way I did it, that is the wrong calculation. That means you have not done the right thing. So moving on to this. If I should ask you the 10th term of this AP, of this GP, that means it's going to be what? 9a r raised power what? 10 minus 1, which is what? A r raised power 9. I hope you are following me. So once we are able to understand these basic formulas, we are going to use them to what? To treat some questions under this AP and GP. So moving on to the next one, we have another point. We have another term in AP. We have what we call sum of first nth term of AP. It's denoted by Sn, which is equals to what? Which is equals to n over 2 into bracket a plus n, which is denoted by n over 2 into bracket a plus l. Now when you say n over 2 into bracket a plus l, this is the number of terms. A is the first term, while l is what? The last term. Don't forget. And I said this l can be denoted by what? Tn, which can also give us this formula a plus open bracket n minus 1d. Now, how about when you have a situation where they do not give you the last term? We are told to look for the first 12th term of an AP, and in the sequence or in the series, we are not given the last term. How do you solve it? You are supposed to use the second formula of solving sum of nth term in AP, which is S equals to what? N over 2 into bracket A plus, this time around, if you are not given L, what did I say the formula for L is? You bring in A plus N minus 1D. So at the end of the day, you have it as N over 2 into bracket 2A plus N minus 1D. So this will give you the formula to use when you are calculating the sum of nth term of an AP. Is either you use this or you make use of this. Now, moving on to what we have here, we have the sum of first nth term in GP, sum of first nth term in GP. Sum of first nth term in GP will give us something like Sn equals to what? A open bracket 1 minus r raised power n all over 1 minus r. Now for this GP we have two formulas for it. This is the first one, and this one is when r is less than 1. When r is less than 1, we'll be making use of a open bracket 1 minus r raised power n all over what? 1 raised power 1 minus r. We will first of all solve r raised power n before you go and subtract it from 1. Now the second formula is if r is greater than 1, we have it as a open bracket plus r raised power n minus 1 all over what? R minus 1. This is if r is greater than 1. Now we are done with all the formulas in AP. Let's finish up with formulas in GP. We have one last formula in GP, and we call it sum to infinity. This is when you are calculating the sum to infinity, and this is denoted by this symbol. So the sum to infinity is what? A all over 1 minus r, which is a when r is less than 1. Which means that for this sum to infinity, we can also have it to be two formulas. The first one is when r is less than 1, a over 1 minus r. But when r is greater than 1, give me the formula in the comment section.
Flash P
We have
EduConsult.
2 questions on the board. Having learnt the basic formulas in AP and GP, so we are going to use it to treat some questions. And now we have first question. What is the sum of the series 5 plus 9 plus 13 plus dot 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 plus 49. Remember, when I define what series is, I said it is denoted by using the positive sign, that plus sign. Now that is why this is called a series. But if it has been, if the question had used 5, 9, 13 and the likes, that would have been what? A sequence. Now, what is the sum of the series? Now, the first question you need to ask yourself is, in what interval is this series moving? If you look at it, 4 is being added to the first term to give us 9. The same 4 is being added to give us 13. Which means if we continue that way, we will continue adding the 4 until we get what? 49. Now, the question is, what is the sum of the series? The sum of the series is, we are looking for all the remaining ones that are here. Then we now add everything together. So now, this is the solution. You cannot get the sum of, okay, let me put it this way. You know, sum of nth term is what? N over 2 into bracket a plus n. And looking at it, we are told to look for the sum of the series, which is sum of n. But did they give us the number of terms? No. We have our first term to be 5 and we have our last term to be 49. But because we have 2 unknown, definitely we will not be able to use this. Which means we need to find the number of terms first. And the only way you can use it to find the number of terms is by saying what? The last term, which is what? The Tn, is equals to what? A plus n minus 1 g. Don't forget how we got this. Now, moving on. What is our last term? Our last term is 49. What is our first term? Our first term is 5 plus what? N minus 1. What's the common difference? The second term minus first term, which is what? 9 minus 5, which is going to plus 1. So with this, we'll be able to get the number of terms. So that will be 49 equals to 5 plus, use 4 to open the bracket, 4n minus 4. Then you collect the like times, that's something like 49 equals to 5 minus 4 will give us 1 plus 4n. When you interchange, this one will come and meet this. We'll be having 48 equals to what? 4n. So n equals to 48 over 4, which is going to give us what? 12. Now, we've been able to use this to calculate the number of terms of that series, which is 12. So it means it is on the 12th term, the number of terms, which is 12. When you add those 12 numbers together, it will give us a particular sum, which means we have like 5, 9, 13, 49. There are some 8 terms here that we don't know. So the best way now is we've already gotten the missing number, the missing the unknown that we are supposed to have used to get the sum of nth term. Now, all we need to do is to get the sum of the 12th term, which is S12. We do what? 12 over 2 into bracket. What is A? Our A is 5 plus what? Plus 49. So this one will divide this, which is 6 into bracket 50 what? 54, because 5 plus 49 is 54. So when you multiply through 6 times 54 will give us 4, 3, 2, 4. So the final answer to calculate the sum of the series is 324. So there are also ways you can get this. That is, we have the first term, we have the second term, we have the third term. What is the fourth term? If you are looking for the fourth term, you know the fourth term, this is a longer process though. You know the fourth term will be A plus 3D. Now what is A? A is 5 plus, what is D? D is 4. So 4 times 3 will give us what? 12. 12 plus 5 will give us 17. Which means moving from 5, 9, 14, the next one will be 17. You add 4 to that 17, you have 21, and so on and so forth. But this is the best way for you to get the sum of the nth term. Now,
Welcome back.
the second question is, if the sum of the first 9 terms of an AP is equals to the sum of the first 11 terms, what is the sum of the first 20 terms? Now, this time around, what they are trying to tell you is, if the sum of the first 9 terms, that's sum of first 9 terms, they said is equals to what? The sum of first 11 terms. Find what? Find the first 20 terms. Before you can talk about finding the first 20 terms, we need to be able to simplify this. Now, the sum of 9 terms is, remember the formula I gave you, that Sn equals to what? n over 2 into bracket 2a plus n minus 1d. That's the second formula. Is equals to what? The same n over 2 into what? 2n plus n minus 1d. Now, the n is what? 9 times. That's 9 over 2 into 2a plus what? 9 minus 1d is equals to what? This 11 times is what? 11 over 2 into what? 2a plus 11 minus 1d. So this one will be having something like when you cross multiply, we have something like 18 into bracket 2a plus 9 minus 1 is what? 10d equals to what? 22 into bracket of 2a plus 10d, because 11 minus 1 is 10. But 9 minus 1 is 8 here, so sorry about that. So divide all through by 2. 2 can go here, 2 can go here. So that will be 9 into bracket 2a plus what? 8d equals to what? Equals to 11 into bracket 2a plus 10d. So what will you expand? 9 times this. 9 will open this bracket, so give us 18a plus 72d, and we have 22a plus what? 110d. So when you collect the like terms, this minus this plus 110d will come and make 72. So that's 72 minus 110d. And this one will be 22a. This 18a will come and make it to become this. So we have minus 38 equals to what? 4a. Minus 38 equals to 4a. Divide all through by 4 so that a can stand on its own. So that will be a equals to what? Minus 38 over 4d. Simplified as 19 over what? 2d. Now we've gotten our first term to be 9 minus 19 over 2d. Now we can easily put in our value inside this. Remember that sum of first 20 terms will still be the same formula. That will be Sn equals to what? N over 2 is bracket 2a plus what? N minus 1d. Now we have almost all the given parameters. We are looking for the S20, which is equal to what? 20 over 2, because the number of terms is what? 20 into bracket what? 2 into bracket, because our A9 is what? 9 minus 19 over 2d plus what? 20 minus 1d. All you are just doing here is you are trying to insert all the parameters you have already. This 20 over 2 give us 10 into bracket what? These 2 will cancel these 2, we have minus 19d, then plus 20 minus 1 is what? 19d. So minus 19d plus 19d is what? 0. So 10 into 0 equals to what? 0. So the final answer for the sum of the first 20 terms is what? Is 0. Kindly subscribe.